The first time I heard about Grant Cardone's 10x rule, I thought it was just another overhyped motivational slogan. The idea is simple on the surface. Whatever goal you have, multiply it by 10 and then put in 10 times the effort you think is required to achieve it. But like most things that sound simple, living it is a completely different story, so I decided to put it to the test. For one full month, I followed the 10x money rule to see if it could change my financial results, my mindset, and my work ethic. What happened shocked me in ways I never expected. Before I dive into the results, let us first understand what the 10x rule actually means. Grant Cardone says that most people underestimate what it takes to reach their goals. They set small targets, put in average effort, and then feel frustrated when they achieve average results. His philosophy is that the problem is not the person, but the size of the target. If you want to earn more, you need to aim far higher than what seems realistic, and then back that up with levels of action that most people would never even consider. At first, it sounded extreme. I mean, how can you apply 10 times the effort without burning out? But the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. If I continued doing what I always did, I would continue getting what I always got. And let us be real, average effort does not create extraordinary success. So I decided to go all in. For the first step, I defined my financial goal for the month. Normally, I would aim to save about $500 from side hustles, freelance work, and careful budgeting. But under the 10x rule, that goal suddenly became $5,000. When I saw the number written down, my heart sank. It felt impossible. But that is the point of the 10x mindset. It forces you out of your comfort zone. Next came the strategy. To even have a chance at hitting 5,000, I knew I had to completely rethink how I approached money. I started by writing a list of every possible income stream I could tap into. Freelancing, flipping items online, tutoring, digital products, content creation, and even temporary work shifts. Instead of picking one or two things, I committed to trying multiple at once. The idea was not to hope one stream would carry me, but to create 10 streams of effort that might add up to something bigger. The first week was brutal. I woke up at 5 in the morning and went to bed at midnight. Every spare moment was spent either working, learning, or selling. I picked up 3 new freelance clients by reaching out to 20 people a day. I launched an online course that I had been sitting on for months. I listed unused gadgets and old books online. By the end of week 1, I had earned just over $700. It was already more than I usually made in an entire month of side hustles, but it was still far from 5,000. That is when I noticed something interesting. The 10x rule had less to do with money itself, more to do with how I thought. I no longer accepted excuses like, "I am tired," or "I will do it tomorrow." The urgency of the big goal pushed me to act immediately, and even though I was exhausted, I felt more alive than ever. By week 2, I started gaining momentum. My freelancing hours doubled because I pitched clients aggressively instead of waiting for them to come to me. I posted daily content online and promoted my digital products relentlessly. The funny thing is, the more I did, the more opportunities started coming my way. People responded to my energy. Friends asked if I could help them with small projects. Strangers reached out with collaboration ideas. The 10x rule taught me that massive action attracts attention, and attention attracts money. Halfway through the month, I had crossed $2,000. That was already 4 times more than my normal side hustle income. But then came the crash. Around day 18, my body and mind felt completely drained. I had overcommitted, and the pressure to hit the goal felt crushing. This is where most people give up, and I almost did. But then I remembered something Grant Cardone often says: discipline is doing what you said you would do long after the mood you said it in has left. That line hit me hard. So instead of quitting, I adjusted. I realized the 10x rule is not only about effort, it is about efficiency. You cannot just work harder, you have to work smarter. so I cut out tasks that did not move the needle. I automated repetitive parts of my work. I started outsourcing smaller jobs for cheap so I could focus on higher value tasks. This shift gave me back energy while still keeping me on track. By week 3, things accelerated again. One of my online courses suddenly took off after I promoted it in a new way, and sales started trickling in daily. My freelancing work expanded because I stopped being timid about raising my rates. By now, the mindset shift was clear. I no longer asked, "Can I afford to charge this much?" Instead, I asked, "How much value can I create so charging this much feels small in comparison?" As the month came to an end, I sat down to calculate the final number. I had not hit the $5,000 goal. My total was just under $4,200. On paper, that is still short of the 10x target, but compared to my original $500 goal, it was nearly 9 times higher. The result may not have been perfect, but it was life-changing. Now let me share the shocking part. The money was not the most valuable outcome. The real transformation was in how I saw myself. The 10x rule forced me to expand my capacity, to stop playing small, and to see that I was capable of far more than I had allowed myself to believe. The number in my bank account grew, yes, but the growth in my confidence, skills, and resilience was even more powerful. At this point, you might be wondering, should you try the 10x rule yourself? The answer is yes, but with a warning. It is not easy. You will face exhaustion, self-doubt, and rejection. People around you may even criticize you for working too much. But if you push through, you will discover strengths you never knew you had. The biggest lesson I learned is that money responds to intensity. When you act with urgency, when you put yourself out there 10 times more than you think is necessary, you break through the noise of mediocrity. Most people never take that step, which is why the few who do stand out. Another insight is that the 10x rule is not just about money. It can be applied to fitness, relationships, learning, or any area of life. Imagine what would happen if instead of trying to read 1 book a month, you aimed for 10, or if instead of making 1 new connection a week, you made 10. The exponential difference in results would be staggering. Here is an interesting thought. Many of us underestimate how quickly our lives could change if we simply raised our standards. The 10x rule is not magic. It is a mirror that shows how small we have been thinking. By aiming higher, even if we fall short, we achieve far more than we would have with average goals. So if you are considering trying the 10x rule, start with this exercise. Write down your current monthly income target. Multiply it by 10. Then ask yourself, what actions could possibly get me there? The answers may sound crazy at first, but that is exactly the point. Write them all down and then start taking action immediately. During my 1-month experiment, I learned that success is not about talent or luck nearly as much as it is about consistent, massive action. I was not smarter, more skilled, or more connected than anyone else. I simply acted more and faster. And because of that, opportunities opened up that I would have never seen otherwise. In the end, trying Grant Cardone's 10x money rule for 1 month changed how I think about goals forever. It showed me that comfort is the enemy of growth, that fear is just a sign you are aiming high enough, and that the real reward of massive action is not only money, it is freedom. Freedom from doubt, freedom from limitation, and freedom to imagine a life that is 10 times bigger than what you thought was possible. And maybe that is the true shocking result. When you aim for 10 times more, you may not always hit the exact number, but you will always land in a place that is far beyond what you ever thought you could reach.